So one of the questions I always used to ask myself is why through my late 20s, 30s, 40s was I undergoing what seemed like constant attack at night in my sleep. All sorts of weird things would be happening. I just thought it was all to do with my own personal journey, which it is, that's intertwined with it, but I couldn't work out why I was constantly being jumped on. I'm talking about having energies and stuff. I don't want to go into too many specifics, but why this stuff was continually happening at night, and sometimes during the day. And then also a little bit later with energies that Lou and I met once we got together on our journey, people trying to shut me down.
Split the two of you up.
Split Lou and I up. It was this constantly ongoing. It's less now because we've come into a different place of being, but I was always much less now. And at night time, if this starts to happen again, and it did recently on a trip to New Zealand, and I recognized it immediately and threw it off. But, it's very rare now that this happens.
And this is, if I can just jump in, Heather, it's because the Indigos
Mm.
were the warriors or are the warriors. And this is the reason why we're talking about this, because it's an honoring of their journey. It's almost like, oh, the Indigos came and yes, they were here. Now we're going to sweep them off onto the off stage because we've got the rainbows and we've got the crystals and we've got the this children and the next children. But we need to realize that if we had not had the Indigos, the platform would not have been set.
Mm.
The platform would have been dismantled. And so the rainbow children and the crystal children and the as you sort of go down and put labels on the next layer of energies that come through, they would not have been able to be as solid in their journey as they are. Why? Because without what the Indigos did, there would be no secure footing.
Foundation.
Exactly.
Foundation was
So,
key.
as I said, the nefarious hate you. They hate the Indigos. Now they don't look at you and go, "Oh, you're born between this time and this time. You're an Indigo. Oh, you were born in that particular period of time, but you're not an Indigo."
What do they see? What do they
What I'm going to say is every child
Mm.
that was born from, I'm going to say from about 1957
Mm-hmm.
all the way through to probably 1975 has got, to some degree or other, the frequency of the indigo coloring, the indigo mantle. Some have recognized within themselves they are different, that they are unique, and they take it, and that indigo mantle thickens. It becomes wearable. It becomes this energy that, oh, it is just, it's a living beingness within the individual, and it strengthens them and it guides them and it helps them, and you become this awareness. Yes. And then there's others that are born in that time frame and they are indigo, but they have no concept of what energy is. They're not brought up in it, or they don't hear that type of language, and so they get dulled. And what happens is the nefarious ones go, oh, that's good, we'll just make sure that they get bombarded with this type of teaching and this and this. And so what happens is the indigos that stood up, shook the world, refused to back down, were more than likely those that grew up in non-religious households. All right? Because you've got to remember that in the 30s and 40s and in the early 50s, the religious household was paramount.
So the parents.
Okay. Now I'm not, yeah, so Christianity was being, and I'm talking Christianity in the Western side. In the Eastern side, we're talking Islam, we're talking Buddhism, we're talking all of the others. Whatever religion you grew up under, in that time period was being established very firmly in the family home. Yes. It was not done to go outside of that. Yes. And if the child did start to question anything. They were brought back very quickly to
Mm.
fall in line.
Yeah.
Now, this was the nefarious entity's plan to ensure that those indigo that were born into families of religious dogma stayed there, did not wake up. And if they did wake up, it was like, I don't know quite what to do with this. I'm just going to go back to what I know. What did the monks say? What did the monks say? The monks said, "Give me a child from 0 to 7, and I will make sure they do not leave the Catholic Church." Now, it's not just the Catholicism, yes, it's any religion. You get a child between that age, and you embed them into that dogma, and you ensure that they just don't know anything else except for that. They will not, they might go away for a while, but they will return. Why? Because it's a boomerang effect. It's like it's been MK Ultra. This is what I know is to be truth.
Or they completely destroy themselves
Or they destroy
with
themselves with substance
substances and
abuse,
stuff
etc.,
like
etc.,
that.
because something inside of them
Mm.
is telling them that this is not right, this is not true, and they have the true split personality that's fighting against each other. So you also have the indigos that were brought up in these types of homes, like the religious dogma, etc., etc., but had the freedom to discover. Their parents were perhaps very religious, but allowed them to interact with school activities, friends, etc., etc., that opened them up to a whole different world, as long as they went to church on Sunday. And so here is the opportunity for questions and changes. But the nefarious ones, when we have to go one step further, we have to go one step further to ensure that we can try and shut you down, make you question yourself, say you're mad, but do anything but step into your power. Unfortunately, by doing what I'm going to explain, they pushed many of you into your power because you went, this. I've got to find an answer. And this was what is termed the abduction period. You have visitations, you have sleep paralysis, you've got all of these things happening, which completely fucks with your mind and with your energy and with your heart, and you are completely confused and in fear of your life at times because you have these visions of being taken off planet, being dropped out of space, taken into tunnels, monsters that you just can't describe them, and then you're told that it's just your imagination. You're having a psychic episode.
Oh, it's just a nightmare.
Or it's just a night.
It's just a nightmare, darling. Here, have a cup of warm milk and honey, and you'll be. Well,
Exactly.
have a Milo. You'll be okay.
Yes, and
And you're knowing very well that the whole thing's going to be happening again and again and again, and you can't stop it.
and so many of the Indigos had this experience. Now they did one of a few things. Either they shut down completely, in other words, their mind just blanked it. I'm not coping with this. I can't cope with this. Shut out. In a manner of speaking, the enemy is won because you're in a state of denial, and you're in a state of you're not going to deal with it. You're just going to live your life. You're just going to function.
Here's a question. And it might seem a little bit out of the blue, but given that we chose to come, there is, I'm betting, on a divine creator, a better plan, a greater holistic
Yes.
something or other, oversoul, call it what you want. And we come in and these things happen at night, but there's nothing saving us from it.
No.
So what the fuck's that about? Excuse my language, everybody, but what the fuck is that about?
Well, it was an arrangement, it was an agreement, it was a condition that when you return to this realm, there is no escape chute. There is no rescue craft. There is no lifeguard coming in. Yes. This was you. You were ground zero. You were the first on the ground troops, and you had to defeat the enemy. You had to get in and open the portals. You had to get in and you had to do what it took to clear the ground, military speaking. Yes, and you agreed to it. Now, part of that warfare, unfortunately, was the manipulation of the mind, the abuse of the mind, abuse of the body. All of these things happened. And I'm not saying it was predestined, but there was an awareness that when you entered in, that that might be the situation of the family that you entered into.
The situation of the family.
In other words, you won't enter into a family that opened you up to that type of behavior or that type of entity interaction.
What do you mean by that? A
So,
family.
so you have soul family
Mm.
and you have the families that you're born into. Yes. Now these are all soul connected. Now it could be that you, as a indigo, you say, all right, here I am. I'm entering it. Boom. And the family that you're in is so connected to divine, is so connected into that which is the essence of truth. Now, they may not know it in the lifetime that they're living, like your mother and your father could be completely oblivious that they are spiritually connected and they carry within them the divine lineage of escape, of truth, of paramount discovery, of the very essence of the divine connection. But they carry it in their blood. They carry it in the very essence of their being because it's come from previous lifetime
So
experiences.
you get a double or triple whammy.
Yes, so you get all of
Okay,
that in your
explain.
body, into your energy. Then, because you've also the indigo and you've come in with your own imprint of energy, yes, this beautiful energy of indigo. So you might come into a family that is RH negative or RH positive bloodline, yes, which is one of the most unique energy frequencies, and they've got everything going for them, yes, energetically speaking, but they could be oblivious to what's happening. All right, sorry, I bumped the table there.
Or let you off.
And so you've now got all of this. Now that is like the most sweetest honeypot to a nefarious entity because all they want to do is shut you down. They want to feed off your fear. They want to feed off your energy. They want to shut you down so you become tired, oblivious, boring, unable to function. And it's like, why the fuck am I here? And if they can get you to do that, then they have achieved quite a bit. However, and this is what I love about you indigo people, is you let yourselves fall for that trick time and time and time and time again. And then you suddenly go, what the fuck? Why am I doing this? Why have I been asleep? Why am I letting this happen to me? Now, you might not use those exact words. You might go, oh, dearie me, or your own language, but you'll wake up again. And the thing is, in this wave, when you're waking up, now you begin to realize one thought, I'm getting towards the end of my physical years, but I don't feel that I'm old. I feel young. I feel younger than I felt in a long time. Why is that? That is because the energy in you is gearing up. You're now coming into that awareness that you are ready for the next step of ascension. And you don't have to return to this realm. You can,
Yay!
you can finish, you can finish. Top life, put everything to bed, experience everything you need to experience in this lifetime, and put it to bed, and you can return back to source. And you can choose, cherry pick where you go.
Some people say you can't do that.
Yes, you can.
But I know now.
Why would you not? Why would you not want to exit or exodus or leave this place?
Some people look, and it might not be this audience because it may not be this indigo audience or those listening, but some believe that, oh no, you don't have that choice. How do you know you? I think that you do have that choice as you evolve your energy here in this realm.
Absolutely.
This is spiritual evolution, and as you evolve your own energy, your own truth of the I am, you can make these decisions in this form with your spirit.
Absolutely.
So
you can step out of contract and into agreement.
Absolutely.
You can say, I know I contracted to come here, but I believe I've done my fair share. Therefore, I now nullify the contract because I believe I've done what was asked of me. in the time that I remain here, I agree to hold space.
Mm.
I agree to assist where I see the call, but I will not put myself behind any longer. I am now forward. I am now front and center for self. Now, that is not selfish. That is taking care of business. That's taking care of who you are. That's allowing yourself to step in. That's allowing your energy to become frequentially free. It's recognizing the vibration of you, the breath that is you, the essence that is you. And that's when you begin to feel that cloak of indigo color return to you in full energy force and full beingness. Anything else that you'd like to say?
Well, we covered quite a bit.
Indigo person, indigo being, indigo.
That was beautiful.
All right. Well, let us just.
We'll leave that there and we'll continue on with another.
We'll do another one later.
I realised I interrupted you when I asked that question, so there was nothing that was, you pretty much had covered it. Well done. Great.
If it's not been spoken in this time, we will speak about it at another time.
As I say, press the notification button so that you get our next top in this series, the next episode in this series. And if you've got any questions around this topic, please put them in the comments below, or anything you want to hear about regarding this or other topics associated.
And if you're an indigo that have experienced something completely unique, and you'd like to share it on the video, if you'd like to discuss things, then send us a message.
Yeah.
And we'll get in touch with you and we'll speak and we'll sort of see if it fits. And who knows, you could be a guest speaker.
Absolutely. Very open to that. Love to meet you all. Okay.